Welcome to Off the Post. I'm Russ Cohen. We're brought to you by Coverall Exteriors and Lights On Electric. We've got Anthony Mingione. And how are you?
Doing all right. Russell, how are you today?
Doing good. Getting ready for a Bryan Adams concert. And Mike, you know about Bryan Adams, right?
Hi, Russ. How you doing?
Don't even acknowledge him.
We have special guest Jason Martinez from Flyers Daily on. Jason, how are you?
God, I'm here to cut like a knife. That's all I know.
There you go. And it feels all right.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat Benatar, too, who is the queen of Long Island. She was great.
Or as Beavis and Butthead referred to her as Pat Nebatar.
I remember that one.
Is this Pat Nebatar?
That's funny. So it should be a fun show.
So
but
Xfinity will be a battlefield, is what you're saying.
So talking about fun, Jason, we watched a very interesting game yesterday with the Flyers and Penguins. And what I didn't know, and I am never afraid to admit if there's something I don't know, I'd never seen this come up, and I didn't realize that even if you're in the penalty box and overtime expires, you can't play, you can partake in the shootout. And to me, like, it doesn't make sense. If you're not able to play in a game and you can't play in the game because you did something, why should you? It's just, to me, it's like if you could.
Well, they couldn't. It was the other way.
Malcolm was in the shootout. He still had time on the board. He was 13 seconds.
Oh, but yeah. Oh, so his penalty wasn't expired.
His penalty didn't count for the shootout. And my whole thing is goals don't count for the shootout. Penalties don't count for the shootout. But you can get a win from the goddamn shootout.
But hey, 3-on-3's hockey.
I mean,
that's what they tell you.
I think that's what we need to find out. Is it?
It's shinny.
It's NHL. For those who remember the video game, it's NHL Hits.
Yes. And there's a reason why NHL Hits went away, because it's a gimmick. I hate 3-on-3. You know,
it only counts in Frozen Frenzy.
Yeah, like there's like diet hat tricks now. You know, like you can have 2 goals in the game and a shootout winner. So I call that a diet hat trick, a sacrifice diet hat trick.
Yeah, well, that was a Trevor. Yeah, Trevor Zegras got one. So there you go. That was a diet hat trick for him.
That's when I recently brought it up.
Ozempic.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, your microphone is not picking up your mic. It's your computer, by the way.
Oh.
Just like I'm an auto radio guy, so I can tell.
You know.
We're hearing you, but it's not as good as that nice little microphone you have there. Will make you heavy sounding, like the voice of God, like where you'll go in a world.
You have to, yeah. As Jason and I once did a podcast together, an F1 podcast together. Jason was like, he was like Yoda, basically showing me how to do my mic.
Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4.
There you go.
Yeah,
there he is.
Now you sound legend. Yeah, that's like I always yell at people for talking into the mic the wrong way. They all want to talk into it like this.
Right.
Just what Russ wants, to hear me clearer.
Yeah. A unidirectional mic you talk straight into, and omnidirectional you talk into the side. But anyway, enough of the audio sonic lesson. But yeah, Russ, there were so many things about that game and the overtime that, it was like doing an autopsy of mass proportion. Yeah. First of all, Malkin left the ice before the ref's arm even got past the elbow up.
Right.
He jumped on the ice. Seeloffs was in stride 2 to get to the bench. He left so early. Yeah. But it's not too many men on the ice, because in the overtime, the goalie doesn't count as a man on the ice. Like, it's an illegal substitution? Like, what are we doing here? These rules make sense to me. They just don't make sense. So
they don't.
Yeah, why that?
And there were 2 disallowed goals. 2 disallowed goals in overtime. I don't think I've ever seen that.
And then the shootout winner, by the way, by Bobby Brink, he went LeBron James Heat press conference and went not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 moves within 2.5 feet of the net.
I spoke to Shelovs about that. You'll appreciate this, Jason, because I know that goalies do a certain amount of video work, but you can't know everybody in the league. And so, like, Shelovs is like, look, I know quite a few of those guys, but there are some guys that I don't know, and then I have to go by feel. And there was no way you could go by feel on that Brink shot.
Nobody throws 4 moves. No. You see 3, you see backhand, forehand, backhand, shelf, or forehand, backhand, forehand. But 4, and to maintain forward momentum, remember, you have to also is a lot. And like Seeloffs, you can tell he's a goalie that likes to get some pre-scout, because he knew exactly what Konechny was going to do. Yes. Konechny's got to come up with something else off that look. He loves to drag across with the right-hand shot and then flip over the glove as the goalie's moving from his left to his right. Seeloff sat on it and made the save. It was easy because he had the pre-scout. Some goalies don't like to know the pre-scout.
No, but he does,
Just
but
throw
he
'em
can't
up.
know everybody. That was his point. Yeah.
Yeah, and like some goalies just don't want to know it because then they feel like they're expecting something, and then they look really foolish. Like if Sam got a pre-scout on Malkin that he loves to go high glove on the backhand, and then he went forehand low blocker, like you're tied and you just don't want to know because you're afraid you're going to use the tendency too much as a religion. So it was a fascinating game for a ho-hum game in October, and the Penguins coming in 7-2-1, and the Flyers off to a relatively good start and have had the worst puck luck after a quadruple doink from Crosby behind the net to tie it. It was the most bizarre game in the world.
Yeah.
In October, but hell, I guess I enjoyed it.
Oh, we all did
because it was so. How many collective games do you think the four of us have watched of NHL?
Oh my god!
Oh my word!
10,000 easy.
Oh, way over that.
We've never seen that. None of us have ever seen what happened last night.
No.
Not even in the playoffs. Like
it never happened.
I'm used to the weirdest stuff happening in the playoffs. I've never seen in any game I've watched that kind of a deflection.
I've seen enough weird stuff. I watched the Leafs in the playoffs.
That is fair.
Well, you can never get to 5-on-4 in the 3-on-3 overtime unless you have the situation that played out last night.
Right.
Where there's a delayed penalty call on the team. It's 4-on-4 and then it becomes 5-on-4 when you pull your goalie and you actually wait till he gets to the bench. By the way, there was a 5-on-4 last night. I've never seen that.
No.
Crazy.
Yeah. Jace, interesting situation certainly right now with the Flyers goaltending. Everybody assumed after Dan Vladar got 3 consecutive starts that the job was his. And now Sam's has had back-to-back starts here. It's just a case where things are just being managed and nobody should be assuming anything yet with this goaltending situation.
Well, you know the old saying, if you assume, it makes a bleep out of you and me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, don't assume. We can say that. Yeah, it makes an ass out of you and me. So yeah, don't assume because this is going to be a year-long battle. There's going to be stretches where it's going to look like, oh, Sam's the number one. And there's going to be other stretches where, it looks like Vladar's won the job, but it's going to go back and forth. And who benefits from that? The Flyers do, because you have two guys pushing each other. Goalie tandems are one of the most dynamic relationships in sports because in the game, there's only one net. Both guys want to play as alpha athletes, but the only way for you to play is for the other guy not to play good, but you want team success. So it's a really kind of like a conundrum wrapped in a riddle relationship. Like you're cheering the guy on when he makes big saves like Vladar did with Harrison making that spread glove save in overtime on Saturday against the Islanders. But you're also going, well, I want to get back in there. And for me to get back in there, I need you to screw up a little bit. I'd like you to screw up enough that we win, but you can screw up a little bit and give me the crease back, you know.
But to follow that up,
weird.
It was reported today that Ersan has tweaked something, and we've heard this before too.
Yeah. That's been the struggle the last year and a half, you know, is the usage and being able to handle the usage. So they'll manage that. I thought that all along they were going to split the games this week. I predicted that Harrison would get the Pittsburgh game to give him 2 straight.
I thought he would too.
Rhythm.
Based on what he said in the locker room, I felt like he was getting that game.
Mm-hmm. And for a goalie, like you really want to establish a rhythm of a couple of games to get into your season in a row. And so they've done that now with both goalies. Sam got 2 straight. Vladar got 3. And now I think you see Vladar on Thursday, unquestionably against Nashville. Then you see Harrison on Saturday, and then Vladar plays against his former team, Calgary, on Sunday. So you're going to get to this point, too, where we haven't had to manage the goalies yet because there hasn't been a lot of back-to-backs and there hasn't been a lot of travel. You couple that with beginning of the season, so you're not monitoring practice time and guys sitting out with the e-bug taking shot and all that stuff. So it's been easy to manage so far. It'll get more complicated, and the split will be more natural based on how the 4 and 6 lays out, or 5 and 7, you know, in the schedule and back-to-backs. But I think this is a year-long battle between the two, and I think each guy is kind of approaching it from the same mindset of, hey, whoever's in there has to earn it. Right. And if you want to stay in there, you got to earn that too. There's no entitlement. And there was a lot of entitlement around the goalie position last year with the Flyers, and it wasn't from Sam Harrison.
No.
It was from Kolosov for sure. And I think there was a little entitlement actually from Fedotov as well, although he masked it better. So you cannot have that entitlement at the position. It doesn't come with it. So you got to earn everything you get. And these two guys seem to have the right personality and combination of personality and skill that they're going to push each other. And that hopefully that makes it better. Yeah. But the environment's been better too.
It has.
I've had my goalie card suspended because goaltending is a product of its environment. Their environment's been tremendous, very predictable. They protect the middle of the ice like top teams in the league.
Jason, I want to talk about goaltending. I want to talk about a goaltender that you're very familiar with, but not a Philadelphia Flyers goaltender. It's a former Philadelphia Flyers goaltender, and his name would be Anthony Stolarz.
Trying to get me
Covering the Leafs as I do.
trying to get me in trouble right
He's
away.
coming in on Saturday.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be there with the welcome wagon for me.
Covering the Leafs as I do, and being skeptical of Stolarz based on his history. I was pleasantly surprised with his year last year, 926 save percentage. I think it was the best save percentage in the league of anybody over 30 starts. But having my mind poisoned by Russ Cohen and Anthony Mangione, I recognize that Stolarz has a checkered injury history, to the point that someone told me he got injured his knee getting out of his car. So, this is a guy who in limited amount of games can be really good. But if you give him more work, that's when the problems occur. And last year, he played 17 of the first 27 games for Toronto before December because Joseph Woll was out early in camp. And then he had a knee injury, shock of all shocks, and missed 2 months. This year, he has played 8 games. He's 3-4-1. His save percentage is below 900. I don't think it's because the Leafs all of a sudden got bad defensively. I think it's overwork. And I don't have a problem with the contract that Stolarz got, because it was a contract that was more of a tandem deal rather than a number one deal. But they're treating him like a number one right now because they had no choice. Once Joseph Woll comes back, in my estimation, and I want to see if you agree or not, they've got to go back to the tandem, because Anthony Stolarz can't handle the workload of a number one, and obviously so far has been exposed playing a number one amount of games.
Yeah, look, I look at this point in the season and 8 games in for him, and his numbers are not good. They're, save percentage of 886 is well below league average, even though goaltending save percentage is coming down.
It is down, yeah.
And be prepared. I think league average will be about 898 this year, because teams don't shoot the puck nearly as much as they used to.
Or are they not counting the shots? I heard Boomer talking about that. He's been looking at shot.
Now, they're not shooting it as much, too.
Okay.
Big time. I mean, when you see games with 14, 15 shots regularly, that's because analytics tells you just throwing pucks from the outside or the point to the goalie is stupid, because it just kills the play. And the goalie just gets to feel the puck. And as a goalie, we love him because we feel the game. We go, send me a couple more muffins, please. But as far as Stolarz go, I was a big skeptic of his, and a very vocal one. And he's not fond of me. And I've heard of it. But last year, his numbers were last year. He was great. And I had to eat crow, and I did it on Twitter, and I know that he saw it. But the fact of the matter is the greatest ability in sports is what?
Availability.
And if you're going to play too much and you can't be available, I don't care how good you are. I just don't, because you're not available to me. Yeah, they're going to have to. You're going to look, every team in the league, with maybe the exception of 2, are going to ride their main guy like crazy, and that's Winnipeg and probably Tampa with Vasilevsky and Hellebuck. You have to nowadays, apparently. We can't play 65 games anymore as a goaltender, right? The way the workload is. And when teams are less willing to shoot the puck, it's going to become goaltending for a goalie getting tired is not about the volume of shots. It never has been. Give me 30, come into the zone, shoot it, stop, whistle, good, we're good. That's no problem. The thing that kills a goalie in exertion levels is zone time, because you got to be locked in the entire time. Now these teams come into the zone, they'll stay in there for 2 minutes and 20 seconds and give you one good scoring chance, and that's it. But that's more tiring than 3 shots in 30 seconds. It's never been about, that's not what tires a goalie out or puts him in a position to be fatigued to then lend to injury. So that's going to be another part of this equation. There's a big adjustment that's going to happen in this league because of the lack of shots. And the guys that adjust to it good are going to rise, and the guys that don't are not. And we're going to see it. It's going to be pronounced. And that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. And my assertion when it came to Toronto and going back to last year is that I think everybody knew what Anthony Stolarz was. And he proved me wrong in terms of the performance level that he had last year.
He was just flat out good.
Right. Yes. Yep. But I thought I know what Anthony Stolarz is. I don't know what Joseph Wall is. And Joseph Wall needed to be given the number one job, or at least more games, to find out exactly what he was. And they didn't do that. And Craig Berube, who falls in love with goaltenders and then plays them to death, that's what he did with Stolarz, and Stolarz got hurt, and then he came back. And in the playoffs, I think that was, they had to go to Wall after Stolarz got hurt, but it was not a knee injury. It was Sam Bennett's elbow that hurt him. And I think Wall played okay, but I think he would have played better had he got more work during the regular season. And this is where, I think once Wall comes back, they've got to play both of them. They got to play them off and on, go like a normal tandem. And then I think then if Wall wins the job, you play him, because Stolarz cannot be the number one.
I'll preempt that before Jason answers and say, welcome to the Craig Berube world, where if he doesn't have a guaranteed number one, this is the world you live in.
If the goalie is not named Craig Billington, this is what you get.
No. How about Jordan Binnington's is in the final year?
Craig Billington. I'm losing my mind.
Oh
my God! What did I do?
I knew what you're talking about.
Biller would be happy you mentioned him. He's a good
Jordan Binnington's in the final year of his contract, I believe, or maybe he's got one more. If this continues, you could see Jordan Binnington in a Leaf uniform, but that's just my speculation.
Yeah, well, pending, of course, if St. Louis is out of the mix, too. That's the other part, because he's going to the Olympics,
right?
And I worry about that effect on players as well, going to play for your country, then coming back and settling back in. I think it's another part of the equation with the trade deadline just after. I've never been a big Binnington guy. I don't know if Russ told you.
I think you've lost that conversation.
Maybe, and I'd heard this summer the Flyers kick tires on him or something. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to eat a lot of crow here. But look, I think you used the regular season for exactly what you said, Mike. Find out who's who and what's what. Don't kill either guy. But that Craig Berube problem is not a Craig Berube problem. That's every NHL head coach problem. Every.
I don't know. Ask Steve Mason.
Show me a good goalie. Show me a good coach, I'll show you a good goalie. You know what I mean? If you don't have goaltending in the sport, you got nothing, because your team can't play in front of a bad goaltender the right way. Goaltending trickles forward so much that if a goalie's back there and can bail you out, you can now play free of mind offensively, creatively, take on risk, knowing he can bail you out. But if you have a guy back there you don't trust and you play safe, you're dead. Number one. Yeah. Number two, you're just, every mistake you make, you're pulling it out of your net. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
So it's so important, and it plays itself forward in so many ways to be able, especially to get out in today's game in transition. Because you got to incur risk in transition. And to score off the rush, sometimes you got to fly the zone a little bit. And you need that guy back there, because it's not always going to work. Or you're going to shorten the ice for the other team in transition to a 2/3 game. And you're not in your structure. Now you're playing out of your structure. They're coming in off the rush, high danger scoring chances. So, I think you do that, exactly that. You monitor the Leaf goalie situation, and you go, okay, we'll never go more than 3 straight games with the same guy. We'll ride the hot hand as it comes and goes for each guy. We won't run either guy into the ground. And when we get to the playoffs, God willing, we have to make a decision, because you got to ride one guy there. But in this regular season, you got to find out who's who and what's what. And the Leafs are kind of a little bit searching for themselves right now, because it's the post-Marner era. So things are different. So I think there's a lot of searching that needs to be done there to figure out, okay, what are we now post-Marner? Because you didn't just lose a third-line guy. Mm-hmm. You lost 100 points. You lost a big presence in the locker room. And whether you can argue should they sign him or not, it doesn't matter. It's a big dynamic difference on that team. So they got to figure out who they are. That's only going to happen organically.
Mm-hmm. Jace, the interesting part, and the other thing that I find certainly fascinating early on with the Flyers is the special teams play so far. Flyers did a great job, I think, last night, certainly on the penalty kill. That's been working out particularly well to start the season. So, but then we look at the power play, and it's been an interesting thing to watch, and how what is supposed to be the first power play unit is really not been. It's been actually the second power play unit that's really been kind of carrying the weight here with Zegras, Cates, Brink, Forster, and York. So just kind of looking at it as a whole, how much of this do you think in terms of their what they're doing right now systematically is going to be sustainable throughout the season as we go along.
Well, I mean, I think first of all, throughout the season, you have to keep evolving it. And I think I really don't even think they've got into the nitty gritty of power play work yet, where you really start to find out who works well where, because that now top power play unit, which was your second, and happens to be a shutdown line with Noah Cates, like that's weird, right? That's really weird. And to keep a line intact for a power play, again, weird.
But I also think about one other thing with that, Chase. I think also the fact that that line likes to create chaos as much as they do in the offensive zone.
Very meat and potatoes.
And it goes very much to what Tocchet is looking for in his power play. So it's almost the theme in that case.
Yeah,
I think Tampa did the same thing in 2004 with that Brad Richards top line. I'm pretty sure that whole top line played the power play too.
Yeah, you see it very rarely. And you're a little split on D because you have Zegras back there with York. And I like York on the power play a lot. I think he finds lanes to the net. He's done it at every level. Been calling for him to be a power play player for a while. But yeah, I think it's just a very simple power play that's been effective. They're not trying to wow you with this crazy passing. And even though there's been some pretty elegant passing, especially from Zegras, who sees the icing extremely well. But it's very meat and potatoes. Like Brink, I was listening to the radio of the game against the Penguins. In the beginning of the third period, Tim Saunders said something, and it finally clicked for me, and I think Tim nailed it. He said this on the post-game show, that Bobby Brink, his kind of evolution as a player, the biggest thing in it was that Bobby Brink had to realize that he has to be the hardest working guy on the ice. And if he's going to have success in the NHL. And it looks like he's figured that out. And we know Brink's never been afraid to go to the dirty areas, and that's where goals are scored. But you look at the power play goal, like Tyson Foerster doesn't get a point on it, but without what he does on it, it doesn't go in. So he gets like my honorary assist because he's jamming net front on the side, causing problems for the goalie to be able to defend that side of the net where eventually Brink goes with the puck. So it's been much better looking, although it hasn't been much more effective. It's still 17%, 24th in the NHL.
Yes.
Eventually you got to produce. And, getting that combo with Mishkov, Konechny on the real top power play unit where it should be eventually.
Yes.
With a larger sample size will be that factor. And now whether Drysdale stays with that unit or they move York to that unit eventually, we'll see. But right now it's working okay. It looks a lot better than it did because let's face it, last year I'd watch that power play and I was looking at the seafront in front of me looking for that bag in the airplane.
Oh yeah,
Eastern flights. Oh Jesus! Like what am I watching? It was so bad. It was a momentum swing for the other team every time because Flyers would be on the bench going like, "Oh, seriously, this is a gong show. We can't even get in the zone." Like it was disgustingly ugly. This has hope for the power play.
Last question for you, Jason. Couple months ago during the summer, Bill Guerin kind of played a coy about who his goalies might be for the U.S. Olympic team. Is there even a discussion anymore? Like, shouldn't he just name Hellebuck the number one and get it over with? And I don't even think there's a competition anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Hellebuck. Like, I think we know that. The only thing that gives you pause is the performance in the playoffs, obviously, last year.
Right.
Like, these games are not going to be played in Winnipeg. That's a big problem. None of them, at least in a 7-game series you have, and they were the President's Trophy winning team last year. They had, 4 out of 7 in every series at home, but he was abysmal. Was he out, just played too much last year and just out of gas? I think so. He played, 63 games last year, if I recall.
Yeah.
He was great in the regular season, and he looked like a tired goalie. Not just tired physically, though, but to me, looked tired mentally. And that's bigger. Because to me, it was watching him, it was all body language. All of a sudden, when they'd show him like after a save or anything, and he would drift around his crease to just keep moving, like he looked smaller. He just presented differently. And you see a confident goalie, you can see their body language. So all that, it's weird that you can see it, but you can. It's the way the shoulders are, the way you're moving on the ice. You see a confident goalie, he looks like a behemoth. And an unconfident goalie looks meek, and he looked meek and overwhelmed. Well, so that's the only thing that gives you pause, but he's the best U.S. goalie out there.
The top two are obviously going to be Hellebuck and Ottinger. The only dilemma is going to be the third goalie, and I think Dustin Wolf has taken himself out of it, and it's is it Gibson? Is it Swayman?
Swayman,
I think it'll be Swayman.
I would think so.
Again, Gibson's another guy I wonder about injury all the time with.
Right.
Obviously, I mean, you can look at the playoffs last year, and Ottinger, was he at his best? He got pulled and obviously in that game cost Pete DeBoer his job.
Yep.
So there's questions there. I don't think you can go wrong with either of those guys. And if you get there, and Ottinger's playing better in the prelims, and then Hellebuck is, then you ride them. You don't owe anything to anybody when it comes to that position. You got one chance to get out of your bracket, get into the medal round, and win. And there's no excuses for Team USA. There's none. They have a
loaded team.
They have a loaded team. I talked to Torts a couple of weeks ago. He called me, and he would always tell me through my treatments, "Don't F it up." And we laughed about it.
He says that to everybody for everything.
He does. But I said to him, I said, look, what are you doing? Are you driving your wife crazy at home or what? She's like, oh my God, she's going to kill me. I said, well, you're going to Milan. You're coaching with Sully for the Olympic team. If you don't come back with a gold medal, I'm going to tell you, you effed it up.
Yeah.
So
tell Mike
you got a
Sullivan,
loaded team.
tell Mike Sullivan not to bench Kyle Connor in the championship game. How about that?
You got to leave the Irish boy out there because he can just flat out score.
Yeah.
I love Kyle. I'm a big fan. I was talking to somebody the other night. I forget, maybe it was Charlie when they played Winnipeg. He's like, I'm not really a fan. I'm like, you don't understand. And you're ginger, for goodness sake. But yeah, Kyle Connor is.
No, I love Kyle
an
Connor.
elite scorer, right?
Yeah, very few guys have a shot like him.
Cole Caulfield, Tage
Caulfield's
Thompson.
not going to make it.
He should make it.
He's not going to. Guerin does not want these smaller players. Should he make it? Of course, he'd be on my team. He'd probably be starting for my team. But this is Bill Guerin we're talking about, Mike.
Yeah, but Guerin's a bit of a throw. He likes a heavy team.
He does.
You know that.
Well,
Thompson will make it. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Guerin will love.
Are you kidding me? That's out of central casting for Guerin.
Yeah, that's hook, line, and sinker. He's all in there. He's that size. And up the middle, you want big centermen that can move up the middle and do it.
Lane Hudson's the one that he made a mistake on that they'll correct. That one they'll correct.
Yeah. Look, we'll see where it goes. But, I mean, you have a real short period of time in those tournaments to come together as a team. And, Four Nations was wild. It's an even shorter time for that. But, the Kachuk brothers managed to get guys together really quick.
They did.
And they managed to make everybody kind of feel a part of it, from what I understand. I talked to Torts about the presence of Matthew and Brady Kachuk. And as you can expect, he had nothing but rave reviews on both.
Oh, I'm
They're
sure.
throwback players. And in a short tournament,
and they'll both be there again. They're injured now, but they'll be there.
Yeah, and I don't think you can underestimate what their presence means to the entire group's personality, swagger, confidence, whatever you want to call it, intangible. But it's every bit the real deal. And in a fast short tournament,
an old Sidney Crosby, though. That's the funny thing because he doesn't play old.
Oh, Crosby's still top 5 player in the league.
I know. So you still worry about it.
21.
Yeah.
This is year 21. And I have yet to see a season other than when he was dealing with some of the head issues and injuries
that was
early in his career where he looked like he was slowing down. He moves every bit as good as he did through his entire career.
Just remember
anything.
Team Canada is one tweaked groin away from Aiden Hill as their starting goalie.
Yeah, that could be a huge factor.
I mean, I agree, but
or just a guy that's not riding a confident streak at the time.
Right.
You never know. I mean, that's why these short tournaments are so unforgiving because so much happens in such a small period of time of huge
the full play matters. Like that whole thing matters.
And it matters too, just so you come together as a group.
Right.
Not only deciding who you're going to play when you get in the medal rounds, but also how you come together as a group is so important. I know that, Team USA guys talked to a few over the last year or so since Four Nations, and they're all on a group text together.
Yeah.
And they're focused. So, I want to see a goal for USA Hockey so bad.
Yes.
The growth of USA Hockey has been so incredible on both the men's and women's side. And as somebody that's been involved in USA Hockey since the age of 4, and coached 20 plus years of USA Hockey and been involved in, all the development models and everything.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it so much. It's going to be
old
so
enough that
much
the Mullins with the Stars, and there wasn't much else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're throwing a team out that you got a legit team. Quinn Hughes. I mean, Jack Fields is going to be on mission.
McElroy, Slavin.
Austin Matthews. I mean, this is your good net. Yeah. Eichel just got so much dough now. He can buy some dinners over in Milan. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
Usually
they
I
can
hate
buy the best
stopping a
Italian
season.
food, and they're still going to eat chicken and broccoli and pasta before a game. That's the problem.
If that's what the Chucks decide they eat, then that's what they eat. And I'm fine with that. Just win,
All right.
man.
Chicken fettuccine Alfredo. That's what they're gonna get.
Well, yeah, don't
No,
get
the
bogged
Chucks won't do it, and they
So
won't
you-
eat fish.
No,
You have
no.
that?
If they emulate Mike Tyson, they're going to say, "I'm going to eat your children."
Here's
Yeah.
the funny
Oh,
thing: USA hockey players and Canadians will never eat fish. The Europeans do; they're not afraid of it. But the
Yeah.
North Americans are afraid of fish before a hocky game. And
Yeah,
I
you
talk
don't want the
players
shellfish
about
thing going on during a game. No. Nobody else
Oh,
needs to see that.
It doesn't matter. Protein's protein. Jay, listen, thanks for coming on. We really
Thanks,
appreciate
Jay.
it. Everybody should listen to Flyers Daily, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks, boys.
Thank
All right.
you.
Hey, Jess.
All right. So, Mike, let's talk about the Leafs. They are coming into Philly on Saturday. They barely handled the Calgary Flames. I mean, they're like right now they're middling as far as what the Leafs should be.
Mhm.
So, when are they going to break out of this malaise? How long is it going to take?
Well, I mean, okay, Kent, again, this is not, like Jason made the point. This is not the same Leaf team.
Right.
So this isn't a malaise. I think this is just sort of they're feeling themselves out. I wrote for the Hockey News. This is the reality of the post Marner world. It's going to take a quarter of the season for them to sort of find their way. I mean, in the game against the Flames, Matthew Nyes, who's the second leading scorer on the team, he scored a couple goals and assisted on Max Domi's game winner. Domi had a couple goals, which that's
Needed.
pleasant because he's been up and down the lineup from first line to fourth line to center to wing. People were criticizing Matthews. He's leading the team in with 5 goals. It's like, I think the big thing is right now, team defensively, they're not playing as well. They're 27th on the power play, and Anthony Stolarz is playing like crap. And that's, I'm not trying to be too hard on the guy, but I think the fact that he's playing too many games is weakened him. And he's, they had to give him a complete day off on Saturday because they've overworked him. So Joseph Wall is back. They needed him back. So now
You're going to see him in Philly? Is Wall going to play in Philly?
No, Wall probably won't be back in the lineup for a couple weeks. He's going to play a couple games. Yeah, conditioning. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And then with the Sabres, a little bit of an uptick here. Is this going to be like some sort of a spark, or is this just some good play lately?
Well, I love it, and I understand it completely from the point of the organization because the heat of everything is on them. But I have never heard a team lose 2 games in a row and be so positive about it. They had a 3-2 lead in Toronto, blew the lead with 6 minutes left to go in the third period, lost in overtime. Yesterday, same scenario. They take a 3-2 lead. Josh Dunn scores his first NHL point. They're leading 3-2 with 6 minutes left to go. Miles Wood, Buffalo-born Miles Wood ties the game. They have a breakaway in overtime. Yuri Kulich doesn't get it. They come down a couple minutes later. Miles Wood scores in overtime. They lose 4-3, and it's like, oh, we got points in 6 of the last 7 games.
2 points.
Yeah, great. You got points in 6 of the last 7 games. You had 2 points in your sights the last 2 games, and you got 1. And that's the problem. What I saw and what other people were saying is, well, they got this. These are games that they would normally not get a point. No, these are the games that you have to get 2, and you got 1. And I think that's so in my mind, they did the same thing that they did last year in a situation where they could have gotten 1 point, they got 0. This year, they could have gotten 2, they got 1. In the end, you need those extra points because you don't know what the difference is between making the playoffs and missing the playoffs.
Nope, that's fair. All right. That's it. That's it for Off the Post. We'll catch everybody next time.
Take care, everybody.